to riff those tracks. Have a good tracks when the riffs are missing. Why you always gotta pick RiffTrax? It's your lucky day, it's time for RiffTrax.
Hello, I'm Faith, and welcome to Faith's Take, where I talk about anything and everything that I find interesting. And welcome to episode 53 of every RiffTrax short reviewed, where I take 5 RiffTrax shorts in chronological order, review them, and give them a rating between 1 and 5, with the points being good, great, awesome, fantastic, and spectacular, because I don't think a bad RiffTrax short exists. This episode has a mixed bag when it comes to what the shorts are about. While we have some hosted by Mike, Kevin, and Bill that are the usual goofy educational fare for kids, we have 2 hosted by Bridget and Mary Jo that are pretty damn depressing as far as riffs go. Like, we've probably seen worse, but they're no walks in the park in terms of emotional tugs at your heartstrings. So buckle up and pop your Prozac for episode 53 of every RiffTrax short reviewed. Number 261, The Litter Monster, from January 29th, 2016.
Look around. Look around.
Are there children playing with a clearly drunk 60-year-old man?
We love your stories about how your ex-wife screwed you over.
To show.
We open our short with a bunch of school kids cleaning up a local park while the worst song in the world plays. But wait, these children aren't just picking up said garbage, but building an ugly anti-littering statue out of it, which I guarantee is making the park look even worse than it did when the trash was just on the ground. The narrator pops in to ask some hard-hitting litter-based questions as he takes us back in time to see where the trash came from and how gross and dangerous it is to all of society. The music comes back in to show the kids cleaning up near a local pond, and how just one person can make a difference when they speak up and do something. You know, how it totally still works these days. Just ask any person with a social advocacy TikTok account.
Collecting trash is fun. It's like Pokemon that could give you tetanus.
This park is full of empty cans and the bodies of mafia informants.
Are the boys and girls who...
Finally, a movie that blends my 2 loves, close-ups of trash and the music of Iron Butterfly.
And what you can...
The sign on his crotch is covering up an impressive litter-based wang.
But still, we have litter.
Well, Crying Indian has the day off.
Good for him.
Good.
The problem is so serious that youth groups in all parts of the country are constantly having anti-litter programs. But you don't have to belong to a club to do something about the litter problem.
Though you do miss out on the fun dues paying.
I'm glad we chased away that weird banjo-playing frog.
And he decided to do something about it.
The invention of shoes was a good idea. Hitler also had some good ideas.
A citizen can do something. Litter
You have been caught littering, Timmy. Your sentence, death by beheading.
Hooray!
Litter barrels will help keep this park clean. And the park department has agreed to keep them empty.
Defeating the entire purpose. Luckily, I fell into this chill, relaxed position.
These boys looked around and decided to clean
Bill Cosby, lower left.
The most beloved man in the world.
That won't ever change.
all the way.
Less cleaning, more batting practice, kids.
The narrator goes on to show us how litter can even hurt innocent animals when passerbys use roadways and fields. 2 girls find a small calf stuck in trash. To advocate for litter prevention in their area, the girls put the injured cow on parade to guilt the crowd into keeping their trash picked up. Meanwhile, a whole gaggle of students take some pictures of how ugly the town is when it's covered in random pieces of junk. They even go around giving out little paper litter bags, which will 100% end up covering the roadsides in less than 20 minutes. The children's obsession gets unhealthy when they make a speaker system connected to a trash can, and they start harassing people, both young and old, as they're simply passing by. Like, look, I get that keeping trash thrown away is important, but that's a step over the line for sure.
An old crate can be a dangerous trap.
Look, a cow. Let's tip it.
Yeah. My God, she's a giant!
Leg caught
I think
bleeding.
it's just a small cow.
Oh, thank God.
While Bonnie waited for help to come, she looked around.
Look around.
Look around.
She decided to set the field on fire with her mind.
As part of their anti-litter program, the boys and girls made a float to show the injured calf to everyone at the rodeo.
The message was clear. If you litter, we'll break your legs.
One of the most important parts of the anti-litter program is litter prevention.
Oh, is this another Spider-Man movie?
Getting younger.
Besides looking around, these boys and girls took pictures of the litter in their schoolyard.
Instead of just picking it up, which seems like the obvious choice.
These girls had their neighbors sign an anti-litter pledge.
And since no human ever breaks their word, the litter problem was solved forever. That's why Detroit is so clean to this day.
Litter prevention can also be fun.
Sure, it's fun, like doing your taxes or having back surgery.
Hello, sir.
Oh, dear God.
Do you have any litter for me today? I'm hungry for litter.
And your wallet. Ooh, yeah, give me your wallet.
Haven't you ever seen a talking litter basket before?
Gosh, tormenting the elderly sure is swell.
And everyone can help. Always keep a litter bag in the car.
Or just stuff trash in your passengers' mouths.
Put your litter in the litter baskets. If you don't see one, take your litter home with you.
Take that, Oscar.
Hey!
What is there you can do?
What? Was this written by Google Translate?
How English do I speak? How English do I speak?
A classic children's educational short with terrible music and not one, but two Muppet riffs is great in my book and earns itself a 4.5 out of 5.
Maybe Jim Morrison had to do this community service song to avoid jail time.
Number 262, Phoebe, from March 15th, 2016.
Phoebe, goddess of the moon. Bet you get teased about that in school.
Oh, kids are so cruel when it comes to Greek names.
They are.
And here we go. I hope you already took your antidepressant meds for today, because here's the first of two utter heartbreakers we'll be watching. Well, you may consider that a spoiler. I just want you guys to be prepared. Meet Phoebe, a girl so sad the short wasn't shot in black and white. This is just what her life looks like. She struggles to get out of bed to answer a call from her boyfriend Paul, one of the most annoying characters we've yet to come across in this entire series, and that's saying something. And they arrange a date for later. And the short immediately gives us all the classic film hints that she's pregnant, from holding her stomach to running to the bathroom to vomit. We then get a flashback of her and Paul skipping from a pretty field into a creepy abandoned house. What a couple of romantics. She quickly snaps back to reality, and on their date, they quite literally hitchhike to the beach where said creepy house is located. Phoebe stares out of the window, wondering what would happen if she told Paul the truth of her carrying his child. She imagines both the best and worst case scenarios before they head down to the beach. While Paul goes into the water, Phoebe has another flashback about them first discovering the house, having good youthful teenage fun. And it's giving big, cool as ice construction zone scene vibes.
Oh, that is a cool ringtone.
Well, better go answer the phone. That boyfriend of yours, forever on the telephone. You.
Come on, I made cigarettes for breakfast.
I'm coming if you'd only quit hollering.
Oh, that is a cute pantsuit.
It really is.
Hello?
Is it me you're looking for? Oh, no. I think that's morning sickness.
Oh, she's prego spaghetti sauce.
I think you're right.
What's the matter with you?
It sounds pregnant up there.
Nothing's the matter with me.
You can find us in the city. But not the country. What is more genuine?
Hi, new character. Have we met?
House of the 4 trees. As the common folk do.
This is when Ingmar Bergman directed after-school specials.
This looks like a place for murder or sex.
Oh, senor! Senor!
What the heck?
Okay, I guess he's in this movie. I could not accept it.
Yeah, you have to. Wise choice, station wagon. You know, I wish this guy spent 1/20th of his attention on his personality as he does on his hygiene.
There's something I have to tell you.
This movie doesn't make any sense.
I'm going to have a baby.
And it's Canadian.
I think I'm going to have a baby. You don't mind, do you?
Here?
That's great. What am I supposed to do? You can't blame me for everything. I want to get married. You're not going to mess up my life.
This has happened to me whenever I've said hello to some men.
I want to swim.
Oh, my eyes. Oh, Bridget, I'm going to need an eyeball transplant. Oh.
That is a darling bathing suit.
I have agreeance.
Oh, she's
Come on, Mr. Dillon. We're going to go.
Not the baby, not that I'm pregnant. Oh, but if I were, the baby, not that I'm pregnant. Did you know it was in the house's contract that it gets 2 close-ups?
Is he available for punching?
I know. Just when you think you're a pacifist, this guy. Excellent.
Hello, operator. I would like to speak to God.
His dislikability has range. I will give him that.
Phoebe's had a bad attitude this whole trip, obviously due to her fear, but this eventually annoys Paul, who asks her directly what's wrong, but she still won't admit the cause of her anger. He ends up storming off, and it triggers Phoebe to remember the way her parents fight. She keeps wondering what will happen to her. Will she be kicked out of school? That doesn't make sense to me. Could they kick pregnant girls out of high school in the 60s? Paul comes back calm and asks Phoebe if he can rub some suntan lotion on her back. He then, despite his annoying traits, does try communicating. He asks if she's alright, if he did anything to upset her, and despite her not giving a direct answer, he takes it and stops prying. She then sees her father saying how their family name is ruined, and then she asks Paul what it must be like to die, clearly considering unaliving herself to be a better alternative to teen motherhood. They hitch another ride as her mind keeps reeling about how her mother will react to the news. She even considers running away. Once she's in the house, she can't bring herself to tell her mom. All she can do is call Paul, immediately tell him she's pregnant, and hang up before he can even say anything. And that's it. We don't get to see any of the fallout between her and Paul, or her and her parents. Nothing. Just a sad girl with anxiety about her future. If I wanted to see that, I could just look in the mirror.
Yeah, paternity cold. I am really confused, and you know that Murder, She Wrote confuses me.
I don't get if it's a flashback, it's her wishful thinking,
or if I'm just hypoglycemic.
What's the matter with you anyway?
Will you stop saying that? Nothing's the matter with me,
What
nothing.
did you come out here for?
It was your idea.
Well, I'm sorry if I'm boring you.
Oh, leave me alone!
Oh, they must be married.
Hey, it'll be a pleasure.
On a Canadian beach, no one can hear you scream, Paul.
Nothing I do is right. I'm sick to death of your criticize.
And I'm sick to death of listening to your belly.
Her parents need to read the 5 love languages. I mean, the mother is clearly not feeling loved when he mentions her belly aching.
Yeah, and who mentions the word belly aching anymore?
So you're going to have a baby, are you? Well, my dear, I suppose it can't be helped.
Especially when your water breaks.
When you're tired. Meanwhile, the ruling of the school board is quite explicit. We have the other girls to think of.
Oh, what about Paul?
Oh, Mary Jo, don't worry. He remains president of his fraternity.
Oh, good. I was worried he might be held accountable for his actions.
Nah, he's good.
Great. Having been there, I think his creative dates are just an excuse not to spend money.
Went back to the house to get the suntan lotion. Want some in your back?
Okay.
She doesn't. You know, it's okay, Phoebe. You can say no to things.
I'm just sort of fed up.
Is it something I did?
No, nothing to do with you. I just feel sort of strange today.
His
That's
sperm
all.
might have something to do with that.
Everyone in the block will know we're finished around here. My name is Mud.
Mud, mud, our name is Mud, 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 our name is Mud, 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 our name is Mud, 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 our name is Mud.
Are we
Sorry.
still in her head, or is this actually happening?
Have you ever thought what it would be like to die?
Yes.
Doesn't it scare you?
Why should I? If you're going to live forever, you get bored stiff.
But what if someone's still young when they die?
When you're young, you're supposed to be thinking about living.
Living.
How come you're suddenly
Karnak.
so interested in dying?
Oh, I don't know.
You characters got a car here?
Well, you didn't even ask her if she wanted to leave.
No, yeah, but I'm sure our Phoebe, she would have been very decisive about it.
And asserted herself.
She really knows what she wants.
Mother, I have something to tell you.
Don't tell me we're out of her mouth.
Something important.
I won't be needing tampons anymore.
I'm going to have a baby.
Phoebe?
It's for a school project.
Oh, Phoebe, what have you done? Your father will kill you. What have you done?
Mother, Dad, I'm going to have a baby.
Darling, how wonderful.
That is news, my dear.
That's just news.
Won't be large enough, so we'll have to fix up the desk.
You'll have to start taking care of yourself.
And you'll have to start auditioning for Teen Mom.
That's a prerequisite, isn't it?
I'm going to take all my mom's light jackets and skip town.
Phoebe, you've gone crazy. Where are you going?
I'm going to an empty parking garage that Paul used to take me to on dates.
Would you look at all the free parking?
I know, and so close to shops.
What are you staring at? Is anything the matter?
No, nothing.
I started losing interest in school and activities that once interested me, and I quit dance line, and I fell in with the wrong crowd, and I got a ride home with a shirtless guy and a top hat, and oh, Mom, I know you wanted more for me. I'm so hungry.
I'm the one.
Why couldn't he just have his picture taken in his hockey jersey like everyone else?
Or like on a hay bale.
Yeah. Oh, God, she's going to call him?
Yes.
Do you think she's going to tell him or break up? Tell
break
him!
up.
Break
No,
up!
tell him.
Oh, God. Let's see. Oh, my gosh. Huh?
Paul?
Yeah?
What I've been trying to tell you all day is I'm going to have a baby.
Beep. This is Paul. I'm not in right now, and I won't be available for 18 years. Mary Jo, I may seem flinty and unfeeling, but this really got to me. Oh, Phoebe.
While the short itself makes you feel bad for Phoebe, Bridget and Mary Jo really make you feel like you're watching her life fall apart amongst friends, so this short gets a 5 out of 5.
Phoebe, what are we waiting for?
I'm coming!
I think that was the cause of all this.
Number 263, The Tiny Astronaut, from March 30th, 2016.
You know, I have a bad feeling about this. White mice are the red shirts of the animal kingdom.
With a title like The Tiny Astronaut, you may think the short's about a little kid who dreams of sailing amongst the stars one day. But boy, would you be wrong. The adjective of tiny, in this case, refers to a small white mouse, creatively named Whitey, being toted along by a boy named Bobby on what appears to be a high school field trip literally out in a field in the middle of nowhere. Why is there a 7-year-old here? Where are his parents? Nobody seems to know or care. They're too busy getting a small unmanned rocket out and start prepping for takeoff. Everyone gets behind a barrier, ready to watch it take to the skies, when suddenly the small projectile explodes before ever getting off the ground. Despite this utter failure, the group is undeterred, and they start getting ready to launch an even bigger spacecraft, because if at first you don't succeed, put more people in potential danger of being pelted with shrapnel. But that's not the worst part. No, you see, Whitey isn't just Bobby's pet, per se. He's been brought to be the titular Tiny Astronaut. But after how terrible the small rocket launch was, Bobby's rightfully terrified that Whitey will be blown to smithereens before making it off the ground. An older boy yanks Whitey out of Bobby's pocket, and despite the pleas of a 7-year-old child, no adult on site cares about the inevitable trauma and distrust that Bobby will now carry forever.
The space-time continuum is in flux. Save us, Tiny Astronaut.
Okay, and then next we put the lime in the coconut.
It's Herbie's cousin Gary, the kooky international arms dealer.
So is this NASA? Is this what Neil deGrasse Tyson spends my tax dollars on?
May we have your attention, please? When the yellow flag
means that everyone must start to go to the trenches.
It's that shallow hole over there. I'll be in this solid cement block building if anyone needs me.
Must adhere to.
We forgot to bring the helmets, so just wrap your shirts around your heads or something.
We must. When the rocket is armed.
What's his name?
This is one of those pickup artist tricks. Carry a mouse around with you. Brilliant.
Hello, Bobby. No, my name's Bobby. That's Whitey.
This kid grew up and named his first child Fleshy.
6, 5, 4, 3.
I just realized this is a The Hills Have Eyes prequel.
It blew up.
It's like a herd of nerd gophers.
This rocket will have a nose cone that will separate at turnover.
Unlike my wife and I, who separated at Passover.
Deploy, followed by the main chute, which will bring the nose cone and its live passenger safely to Earth.
Now I am become Death, destroyer of recess.
Good. Now install the mouse chopping blades real quick.
Where's the mouse? We're ready for him.
It was then that he heard the muffled squeaks coming from Bobby's stomach.
Look, he won't get hurt.
That other rocket didn't work.
Oh, Bobby, that rocket was in deep with the Irish mob.
The parachute comes down slow. Now you're gonna mess up our whole experiment.
Gotta fire before the wind comes up.
And that mouse owes this town big for what he did.
Wrenching a pet out of the hands of a child. Now it's a rocket launch.
The elder boys start to strap Whitey down into his homemade seat snugly. Seems safe-ish until they literally just slap said seat onto the side of the rocket cone. Did they use Gorilla Glue or anything of industrial strength? Don't know, but Whitey's set to go. The countdown begins, but Bobby can't take the suspense and runs out to try and save his little rodent friend. And notice, not a single adult runs after this small child who ran into an active takeoff zone. Thankfully, they notice in time to stall the takeoff, but still... And I gotta ask, why is Whitey even crucial to this operation? Why can't this kid just have his mouse and they launch the rocket as is? It's not like this is an actual experiment by NASA or anything. After physically assaulting Bobby, they finally agree to give the child his innocent pet back, and everyone looks disappointed for some reason. Again, how important was Whitey's inclusion to this whole operation? And thank the Lord Whitey was saved, as the capsule's main parachute failed to deploy, and he definitely would have been a furry splatter in the sand if Bobby hadn't insisted on keeping him safe.
I went through a few mice before giving up on the tiny jumpsuit.
Whoa, this town does not mess around when it comes to cheese theft.
Separation will occur.
And just a reminder, we filled the rocket's nose with industrial fireworks, so it ought to be a dazzling explosion.
It will be a very attain an altitude of anywhere from 5 to 10.
Going to space. It's sad as hell.
The mouse will be okay, won't he, Bill?
He's got a good chance.
Not since Dewey defeats Truman has anything been so publicly disproved.
The rocket is now armed.
The rocket is now armed was completely rejected by my wife as boudoir talk.
On my count, Mark, the time will be X minus 50 seconds.
It's a cruel, unfeeling world, Bobby. It's best you learn that now.
On my count, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Hold! Kid! Bobby!
You're on the next rocket!
Get down! Get down!
You gonna give me Whitey back?
Bobby, we pried Whitey out of a glue trap this morning.
For heaven's sake, Bill, tell him to give it back.
Jeff, give him his mouse. We'll be at this all day.
This is unfair to Jeff. A mouse killed his parents.
Robin, pestilence-ridden filth hamster.
Dollar store Biff Tannen.
Hey, Rich, will you go check the gas in the generator? I think we're starting to run low. Thank you.
Oh no, if they run low, they'll have to quit playing with garbage and explosives and go get lives and dates.
The drag chute is open. It doesn't look like the main chute is going to come out.
The main chute promised it was coming out, then feigned a sudden illness, and it's now pretending not to see my texts. Very upset with the main chute right now.
Here, feast on the shattered remains of your humiliating and very public failure.
Wow, Whitey wouldn't have survived after all. I missed out on seeing the most kick-ass mouse death of all time. Damn you, Bobby! It was that day that Bobby learned what he wanted most out of the women in his life: resigned pity.
Bobby could feel the eyes of the other children hot on his back, but he didn't care. He was above them now. Better. Different. Bobby had become. The crowd owed him all.
Why does Bobby have no parents who care about him and his mouse in his life? We may never know. But regardless, this short earns a 3.5 out of 5.
Everyone here went on to become serial killers, right? I mean, we all agree on that?
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Number 264, Social Acceptability from April 12th, 2016. Cult.
Here's Ben, a boy whose background could be described as lower class.
I'm not saying that. It's just what I've heard.
He's intelligent.
Hope you're ready for more disappointment and angst, because our ladies are back with a heaping helping of it. We open innocently enough in a local soda shop as the narrator shows us some of the different kinds of kids from the high school. He goes on to explain who's popular and who voluntarily keeps to themselves. However, there are no direct reasons to explain who's liked and who isn't. It's not just personality or wealth, so what is it exactly? Then we meet Marion, who's on the fringe of the local cliques. Her social status is a bit confusing, because she's literally chatting with 2 friends when we see her. Said friends are discussing a party that a girl named Susie will be hosting, and we get the exposition that Marion and Susie used to be closer. Marion internally monologues about wanting to be part of the gang, so why doesn't she just go ask? The kids in the group actually seem really normal and nice, especially Susie. In fact, Susie talks with her and implies that she'll ask her to the party before having to run, and she says that she'll call Marion that night. Marion takes some action, trying to be part of the gang herself by asking her mom if they could invite some of them over to her house to hang out. Her mom, who may literally be the most sexist mother I've ever seen, absolutely refuses, saying catering to teenagers, especially girls, is difficult, which was as untrue then as it is now. Marion reminds her mom that her little brother has friends over all the time, and the mother just makes bad excuses. Meanwhile, the kindest husband and father I've ever seen really tries to help Marion out and convince mother to let her have a small get-together.
Between 14 and 16 years old, social life is a dominant interest.
Avoiding social life was my dominant interest.
Several groups or cliques.
Or cliques, as the non-pretentious like to say.
Broad is the clique, which dominates the social life of the school.
So he started his own cult.
Here's Ben, our fringe case, Marion Ellsworth.
What?
She seems to qualify for acceptance by the clique, though somehow she hasn't quite made it.
Who the hell does the narrator think he is?
Boy, the wheels are sure buzzing today. You think nothing ever happened around the school except what they do. We'll be hearing about that party for weeks.
What party are you talking about?
Oh, no party. Nobody. Who said anything? No, we said Darty.
We're not going out.
For the social set of our class.
I thought you'd be asked, Marion. We used to know Susie real well, and you lived in the same street and everything.
Oh, when I poisoned her, it strained our relationship.
Junior high. After all, we used to be good friends. I wonder who she's asked.
Everyone except you.
I want to ask you something. Some of the kids are coming over Saturday night.
So if you want to ride home, you better hurry up. Dad's waiting for us outside.
Oh, gee, wait for me. I'll be right back.
Anyway, if you could cater the party, that would be great. Thanks, bye.
I'll call you tonight. I was wondering whether I could have some of the gang over some night for a little while.
You know, just some of the Crips.
Marion, a bunch of teenagers with one of those noisy record players. They'll want something to eat. Really, Marion, it's all I can do to keep the house clean and the family fed without parties for teenagers.
They might walk on our floors or use our hand towels.
Don't mind? Afraid not, Marion. It's too much work and worry and money.
Oh, come on.
Wouldn't be any trouble for you, Mother. I could make sandwiches.
And besides, it costs money to feed all those young people.
What if they want saltines? What then? What then?
Friends, you feed them and you don't mind the work then.
Boys are a lot easier to cope with than girls.
Should I just call the therapist now, honey?
Class come from real families. I'd have to bake and go to a lot of trouble.
I only go to a lot of trouble for the men in this family.
Kids don't expect their mothers to go to a lot of trouble. They just want cokes and stuff like that.
Evelyn, maybe Marion's got something.
Yeah.
Those kids don't want you to fuss. They like formality.
At dinner, Father takes more interest in Susie's social life in 2 minutes than my parents have in my entire life. After Marion goes off to do homework, he again tries to help Mother see the light that a small party wouldn't be much work, and Marion needs to have more connection with friends. It's then revealed that the parents don't even have their own friends over at their house. But why? Because Mother has her own trauma, having had no friends and being bullied by the richer kids when she was Marion's age. Now, I understand how Mother feels, believe me, but your past doesn't indicate your child's future, or even your own. The parents could totally have friends and parties and let Marion have them too. Mother could grow and heal from her past. And thanks to Father's kindness and patience, Mother agrees that Marion could have a small group together in the future. And that new shred of hope you're feeling? Get ready for it to be ripped away as Marion waits for Susie's call. We cut to Susie's house where her older sister's a real jerk, insulting both Marion and her parents, despite us seeing how healthy a relationship the parents really have. She then reminds Susie she can only have a limited number of guests at the party. Back at Marion's, she waits all night for a call that doesn't come. Why not? Susie seemed insistent on inviting her, so why didn't she? Alas, we will never know.
How are you getting along at school these days, Marion? I don't mean your schoolwork, I mean the social life.
Susie Summers is having a party this Saturday, Dad. She all but invited me this afternoon, but she said she'd telephone me tonight. Can I go now, Mom?
Yes, Eric, run along.
You're perfect.
I was kind of surprised when Susie mentioned her party to me. But I guess she still feels we're friends.
Of course she does.
Well, we're not having a party here.
Excused, I have some homework to do.
Yes. Why are you getting so excited all of a sudden about Marion's social life? She's just a child.
She's nearly 16. She's almost a young woman.
Mm-hmm.
She ought to know how to talk to boys.
How to play beer pong.
Totally.
When she's with people. Why don't we have some of our friends over once in a while?
Mom's depressed.
Seems to me. I saw little Susie Summers on the street the other day.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't seen her for quite some time.
Sure.
Believe me, she's turned into a very lovely young lady.
And it makes me want to party is all.
To see Marion to grow up so that she can make friends, that's all.
I suppose what you mean is
Oh, incoming.
you don't want to up like me.
No?
Truth.
No, I like you just the way you are. But, well, you know you are shy.
And a drag.
Some people don't appreciate you until they get to know you.
And then they really hate you.
I can remember girls like that when I went to
She's afraid. I feel bad.
They seemed to be sneering and giggling at me.
Well, were you wearing that? Because, frankly...
What to say or
I don't know.
how to dress.
Evelyn, I didn't mean to upset you like this. Have some more coffee.
That will calm you.
Now I've had enough.
That's why I think Marion would be better off if she were in the gang.
Oh, no, Marion's going to be a white power skinhead.
But at least she'll be accepted.
Arrange a little party for her. But I'll need your help.
And the Hells Angels can help with security.
It's all working out.
Some more coffee.
Oh, gee, I almost forgot Marion Ellsworth.
She makes me want to party.
Her until I saw her this afternoon.
She's a very young lady.
Going to invite her? Why, she doesn't even belong to your gang. Those queer clothes she wears.
What?
I felt kind of sorry for her today.
If she doesn't smarten up, she's going to grow up to be just like her parents.
Happily married.
Marion's mother
Working their problems out.
asked any of the parties.
Well, it's my party, and I'll ask whoever I want.
God, Susie Summers is a very lovely young lady. I love her.
To be good friends in junior high.
You better make sure you haven't got too many on the list already. Mother said we only have 14.
If she's so cool, why is she going to her little sister's party?
Yeah, I know.
And you won't be able to invite Marion Ellsworth, that's for sure.
Man, if Marion ends up dead, you know who did it.
Wow, these girl gangs are ruthless.
Jeez. What is that? Is that a bomb?
Oh, no.
Oh, gosh, it's Susie's sister. Marion, no!
Mother? What is it, Marion? Was that the phone?
Look, Texas has become a state and Susie still hasn't called.
Are you thinking this takes place in 1854?
It's black and white. It's anybody's guess.
To the park.
It's the crisis hotline cold calling her.
It's for you, Malcolm.
It's little Susie Summers.
He's calling her.
Hi. Bridget, no.
Sorry.
It's time to go to bed.
Yes, Mother.
Keep it together, girl.
This is what it sounds like when doves cry.
Marion was rejected today.
But only by Susie's sister.
Exactly. What went on in the house where they didn't
That's
call
what
her?
I want to see.
Felt social acceptance can leave emotional scars.
Well, it's a good thing her mom's keeping a safe distance and not crowding her by talking to her or exhibiting any tenderness.
Just letting her deal with it on her own.
As someone who grew up in a family that said friends weren't important and is now a pretty lonely adult without any friends, this short, while the riffs are very good, can be a bit of a hard watch for me. It reminds me of my own awkward years and lack of companionship I still feel today, and I think the last few years a lot of us have felt this. But despite the feelings I'm still working out with my counselor, I come back to this short often, and it gets a 5 out of 5.
It does seem that Marion's left out of the gang more and more lately.
Despite her teardrop tattoo.
I know. Have a little party.
Number 265, The Value of Teamwork, from April 21st, 2016.
But I still think you're making too much of this teamwork thing.
Yeah, it took two people working together to make Guy Fieri, and look how crappy that turned out.
We started a play rehearsal where a boy named Max can't remember his lines. And we're not talking Shakespeare here, we're literally talking the Three Little Pigs, so he really doesn't have an excuse. After letting down his classmates, his talking dog, Einstein, decides to teach Max about teamwork. Now, Max isn't befuddled by the fact that his dog can talk. No, he's more concerned about being woken up at 6 a.m. So I guess the two of them have always had this arrangement? Max wants nothing to do with this lesson, even when Einstein starts giving him real-life examples where Max has failed his friends already. And for being like 10, Max has frustrated his friends quite a few times indeed. Even Einstein using a typewriter doesn't shock Max into believing what he's saying is important.
Come out, you three, or I'll huff.
It's Professor Xavier's school for not very gifted students.
Really tough.
Come on, Max. Speak, kid. I'm trying to help. A dog like me is too good looking to play the big bad wolf. Speak.
My God, that dog is possessed by the spirit of drunk Jimmy Stewart.
Does your child have a typewriter at the end of his bed? He might suffer from a condition called insufferable hipsterism.
Max, wake up. I have something important to tell you.
Chemtrails are real. They're what gave me my power.
You're about to rehearse your play with the perfect teacher and drama coach. That's me.
Einstein, you woke me up for that? It's just a dumb old play.
I told you only to wake me for my whining lessons.
To be in school for another...
I'm worried about you.
So what's weirder, a talking dog or a dog that wants to watch a kid rehearse theater?
Everyone has to know about it. Remember those boys we saw at RFK Junior High?
Remember how the sweat glistened off their naked backs? But I digress.
What about that mural project you were all working on at school?
The one where you're making out with Gizmo from the Gremlins.
Let's keep that quiet, Einstein.
The cow should have been brown or black or tan, but not pink.
Conform to normality, says the talking dog wearing sunglasses.
You just...
If you read this letter, you will die in 7 days. Hey!
Remember, Max, teamwork.
Einstein, will you just stop it? I've had enough of this.
I hope you get canine leukemia.
Not till you get smart. Teamwork can make work easier. You know, Max, when you all worked together.
Well, maybe Einstein would have better luck teaching this kid about teamwork if he wasn't doing it all by himself. Huh?
Since nothing has gotten through to Max yet, Einstein somehow gets control of Max's mind and makes him relive all those memories again. Only this time, his teammates are gone and he has to handle all the projects himself. Einstein's really just prepping Max for his college group projects later in life. This mental torture does end up giving Max the point, and we get to relive these events a third time, as Max imagines helping his friends this time. However, Max still wants to forget about teamwork, since adults must not need it like kids. So now Einstein has to give all new examples of how pretty much everything in life involves multiple people working together. And yet, Max still doesn't get it and thinks that being an astronaut is a one-man activity. I know if I was Einstein, I'd have given up by now. I mean, goodness gracious. But this pup doesn't give up. And finally, Max understands that he can see selfishly how teamwork will help him in the future, even if he doesn't believe in it right now.
I don't need Brian or Cindy or Terry, not at all.
In fact, I'm going to go be the dictator of a South American country.
Good morning, listeners. For more on this story, we take you to a nearby field where Max shows how he plays kickball without his friends.
And in case you're wondering, I am sending them to hell. Satisfied, Max?
Hell, annihilation. Long as they're out of my hair.
And now, Max will show us how fast he can paint a mural by himself.
Oh, and also, no springs!
Oh, coily!
When you try to do too much by yourself, it can take forever.
Max the Little Kid. Yes, that was my name.
And now we'll see how...
I can't survive without teamwork. I got the point.
It's too late, Max. Events are in motion now. I'm going to show you the meaning of loss.
What would you do if you had... And the result would be a mural that's absolutely beautiful.
If you happen to think that terrible murals are beautiful. Now do it again and make it good this time.
Fantastic result.
You're right on the mark, Einstein. Teamwork can sure make my work easier.
I stopped listening to you hours ago, kid.
But that's kid stuff. And I won't always be a kid, so I can forget it.
Oh, you will always be a kid. I've been slipping you a drug that stunts your development.
Together. Reporters don't put out the paper all by themselves. They're part of a team.
No, wait. The entire team was just laid off, son.
What about the pilot you saw at the air show last week?
Teamwork is a huge part of homoerotic volleyball.
A lot of practice and hard work to learn how to fly those planes so close together while performing those difficult maneuvers.
Yes, trying not to black out at 8 Gs is identical to painting a crappy cow.
I'm gonna be an astronaut and go to the moon.
The closest Max ever got was wetting his pants during Space Jam.
I have a surprise. It takes a lot of specialists to build and launch a rocket.
To build the sats and fake the landing footage.
Together.
I can't wait for the play rehearsal.
Those pigs aren't going to know what blew them.
Reword that, Max.
And I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. Yay! Oh,
What a team we make.
The pigs and the apex predator who wants to devour them. What a team.
Max is a very frustrating and whining kid, even for an educational short, but it's entertaining nonetheless, and this one earns a 4 out of 5.
Oh, yes, Maxwell. I remember it very well.
You know, this story of a kid and his dog really answers that age-old question, what if Charlie Brown was a dick?
You didn't...
As always, thank y'all so much for watching, and special thanks to my amazing Patreon supporters, including Kevin Nata and Isabella Summit. I hope we're all emotionally alright after those tough black and white ventures by our riffing ladies. This list of shorts really shows how wide a range of topics these educational stories can cover. From astronaut mice to your mom gatekeeping your friendships out of past shame and jealousy, you never know quite what you're gonna get around here. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like and subscribe, because it really does help me get out there and get found by other Misties and RiffTrax fans. If you want to see more of me, I also have a bunch of links below, so be sure to check them out. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys later.